Hello everyone. Thank you so much for joining and stopping by to see what we are doing today. What we are doing today is going to be a colorful, stripy kind of sky where there will be an inspiration drawn from the viral video of that girl that caught the meteor on camera. So that's where our inspiration will come from for this drawing. The Art of Pain, hello, I'm so happy that you're joining the live stream. Right now what we are doing is taking our blue, creating almost like the base for the sky before we add all the other colors that we want to add today. I've already done a few clouds and of course our signature meteor for today. For that I just did bright orange in the middle, and on the outside I did a darker shade of orange. The Art of Pain, how's it going today? How's your day? Now that we've laid kind of a base with our cobalt blue, we will take a light purple. I'll take my tiny purple here and put that on top of our blue. The reason that I'm doing this on top of the blue is because we will be doing a pink color near to the meteor to give it a pop. Medium Syllable said, this looks cool so far. Thank you so much. I appreciate you stopping by and letting me know what you think. And we are basing ourselves today of that viral video that went around of that girl that caught the meteor on video. So that is what we are drawing inspiration from today. Now we're going with our pink around the meteor to give the illusion that the meteor is lighting up the sky around it as it passes by. And very carefully lay it next to the mix that we made of blue and purple. So let's get blending here. We will take some of our linseed oil and just any brush really. We'll dip it in that oil and go first over the lighter colors. So in my case, I will start going over the pink before I go over the purple and the blue. And just carefully make sure we let that orange be our meteor in the sky. Polish said, which oil pastels taste good? That's a good question. I've tried a few, but none of them. And I know that there's a light reflection at the moment. Let's see if we can avoid that by pulling down. And when we have blended the pink, then we can start dragging that into the mixture that we made of purple and blue. And we might have to clean our brush a few times before we continue blending into that blue. We want to make sure that we respect where each color is and we don't overblend them. So now I'm cleaning my brush off screen, picking up some more of that oil, and now I will go into that blue, lay on some of that oil, and start blending. Again, we will be respecting where we've already laid that purple and that pink. That's going to be our trick for making this colorful. To not overblend, but blend just enough. I prefer to use a flat brush for the blending, but you can use any shape of any brush you have. This just makes it easier for me to blend, and a little faster as well. So respecting all the colors that we've already blended, we will just clean our brush off screen and focus on dragging the color to blend in with what we already made without over blending. So now we have the pink, we have the purple, and we have the blue. So we'll continue moving on with our painting. We'll use our cobalt blue again to lay on a base for the next color. And we will repeat everything that we just did. So leaving a space for a stripe of color in between the blues. I want to make sure I put on the paper just enough blue so that when we are blending, that blue is rich and deep. And I think this is good enough for our next color. So why don't we give that purple some space to shine. So I'll take my tiny purple here, and we will first fill in the part with the most space before we start overlapping it with our blue. And I will use a different purple to put it on top of the blue. This is just a darker purple, and then just some streaks here and there over that blue, because when we mix it, it will help us give that illusion of a coherent sky blending together. Manny Sanchez said, "Cool, what you making?" Today we are making a drawing of inspired by the viral video of the girl that caught a meteor on camera. If you have watched it, that's what we're getting inspired by. And so we will be taking our oil on our brush, lay it on the paper first, and then we again begin to blend the lighter parts first. This so that we can preserve the pastel color the way it is without over blending it into the blue, which would change the color that we want. just like this. And once we are done, we will leave that alone and we will work our way into that overlap that we did of blue and the darker purple. So you will see now, this gives our sky a more colorful layout that blends all the colors together. That pink connects to the purple, and that purple connects to the blue, just like this. And next we will repeat the same process, but this time we don't need more blue. We will just let those colors blend together. The next color that we're going to use is a rich blue. This blue is a lighter blue than the cobalt. This is ultramarine. And to make it just a tad bit lighter, I will use our baby blue here. Lay it on top. And we will repeat the same steps. We'll lay our base cobalt blue just around it, tiny bit, so we can blend into it. And then we will take our brush with a little bit of oil on it and start with the lighter color, which is our light blue. We will mix lightly our cobalt, our ultramarine blue and our baby blue. And if we need to clean the brush, we will do that to preserve our light colors. Just like so. So now our sky is reflecting those colors in a lined fashion, just like our meteor up here. And where it's going to get fun is when we draw the hills over here with the house on it, reflecting that light of the meteor as well. So now I'm mixing that light blue into our base cobalt blue, just like so. Making sure that we preserve the original color that we laid on the paper, but also blending everything. Joey RL said, I ate all my oil pastels. I think you're the second person in the chat today that ate their oil pencils. So now that we have this beautiful sky, we will finish it up in just a bit, but we will take an orange color to draw just a little house here on the hill. Our signature little houses. And this is me just doing an outline. We will be making sure that we do vertical lines, and for the roof we will do these diagonal lines. And as we go on, you will see why it makes sense to lay our vertical lines like this, and for the roof, our diagonal lines like that. So I will gently just begin sketching our house. You can do a smaller house, you can do a bigger house, depends what you have on paper. And we'll fill in the rest of the paper with our hills, our mountains, whatever this is in your mind. You get to decide. So now that we've laid our base, that orange, we will blend in before we continue with our other colors, and this blending will allow us to do two things. One, to make sure that there is no white spaces when we lay on the actual colors for the house. And two, it will allow the pastels that we do on top of it to be richer in color. And I will do the same for now with the hills, but we will come back and decide what color we want those hills to be. For now, I will just blend them because that's what we're doing. One thing that will be very helpful when painting our little house is to pick a darker and a lighter color. For the darker color, I'm going to stick to that blue. And this is where our diagonal lines are going to come into play and make sense. So take a look at this. This is how we're going to simulate the roof of this house with our diagonal lines. And for the door, I want to make it right here, just like this. And we will be going over those vertical lines again. This is why it will make sense. Just keep watching and you'll see why. So I will lay on this blue, and I'll do as thin as I can for the lines. And on top of this, we will go with the actual colors that we want on our house. So we will be doing some orange, why not? Lighter orange than our base color. And I want us to do some yellow on it as well. So I will fill in the bottom of the roof with this orange. And then I will also be using a lemon yellow. So we will lay on that lemon yellow almost like in the middle of the roof. And what this is going to do is give it a glow. That's why it's important that we did the dark blue first. So we will at the top go back in with our lighter orange, do those diagonal lines, and we'll do the same on the left side of the roof. Lay on the lighter orange as strong as we can, do the pressure on the paper, and with our lemon blue, pardon me, our lemon yellow, we will be doing the left side here, like that, again adding to that glow. And I'll play around. I always like a little bit of glow on that door as well, so we will be doing some lemon yellow on that door as well. But that will not be the final color. We'll decide what we add to it later. The Art of Paint said, "You art so fast. It would have taken me hours to do this." The Art of Paint, it's because we're working with a small painting. You can see the size of my hands. It becomes so much easier when you're doing small art. It's so much faster. Nothing compared to a larger painting. So now for the color of our house, I want to do a mix of pink and our light orange. The light orange will be there to just give it a touch, but it will not be the main color. I want the main color of the house to be pink. The reason is that we want the colors of the meteor to reflect onto the house. So I will be just peeling here, peeling our pastel color, and then this is why it's so important that we work with those vertical lines. This is what has been giving shape to our house, the vertical lines and the diagonal lines. Because pastels are chunky little pieces of paint, that's what's gonna help us. And if it blends with that blue, that's okay. We will figure it out. I think that the side of this house needs a bit of yellow. I just really like the glow that the yellow brings. So we will do some yellow, making sure that I'm going on top of everything except the blue. But if we go over the blue, that's okay. It will be okay. It's not what we intend, but it will not be a problem. And for that door, I want to do a purple. And I don't know if you've noticed, but I'm taking the same colors from the sky, mixing them in the house to make the illusion that it's there, reflecting the colors. So I'll just do a touch of yellow on top of that purple. Here's my lemon yellow. Go back in here like that. And I want to do some more pink. Let me see what we are working with here. We have red. We have light pink. Oh, there it is. I had lost my hot pink, but we found it. And I will do just some touches of pink on our door. So I will go over that light pink with the hot pink. And the hot colors like hot pink and lemon yellow help to aid in that illusion that the house is reflecting the colors of the sky. Now we will be taking some aid from our pencils, and these are watercolor pencils, and I mix them. I don't follow the rules too much. We will be using this to accentuate the roof, just making sure that our lines are well defined, like so. And it makes a small difference, but a lot of small differences make a big difference. That applies to life as well. Small differences, a lot of them, they make a big difference. So we will continue doing that on our house. Just using that yellow to define these vertical lines. And if it blends the colors that we have, that's okay. They are all hot colors, and if it does not blend them, that's okay too. Your brain will pick up on what we're doing, and the brain of the audience will also pick up on what we're doing. To finish our little house, I want to do a different color on the door. Maybe you can help me decide. How about we try a hint of green? Just a hint of that green. To make it stand out. And since we've already blended our colors, we have to do high pressure to lay that green on top. And that would work. So before we move on to finishing the sky, we will do our little mountains, our little hills. And one thing that is really resonating with me is the pink, the hot pink that we laid on the house. And so we will do the same on our hills. This time we'll do stripes on the hills. There will be colorful hills. And we will blend them. We might blend them a little, might blend them a lot. We will see what looks better. The point here is that you trust yourself with what you're doing, and that you trust that it will come out good. It's about trusting the process. That's what life is about anyway. So just making sure we are doing a pattern, okay? So I wouldn't do horizontal lines unless they were circles, just to lead the eye where we want the mountains to be. Let's go back in with our deep orange, this orange, and let's lay some lines here and there. Let's not follow a pattern so that we can fit more colors on the hills. So we have that hot pink, we have that orange, and we can also add hints of yellow. But because this yellow is our glow, we will be very careful where we lay it. So I want to stick to the middle of our painting, the middle of our hills. You know, here we were doing that yellow in the middle, on the diagonal and the vertical lines of the house. So we will do the same with our mountains. Not running the lines all across, but focusing on the middle, just to give it a little glow. And we will do the same with our other mountain before we blend anything. And we will go over it if needed after we blend as well. Sometimes when we blend, colors can get lost. That's why we have to trust the process. And I want to do some purple as well, just using all the colors that we've been using before. But because purple is darker, I want to be very careful with where I put it. And if you're feeling like not much of a risk taker today, you may wait until you blend, because we will have to go around this purple. If we blend this purple with everything else, we may risk creating a color that we don't want. Colors that are darker, they have the power to overtake the lighter ones, so we must be careful. So we'll just lay on bits and pieces here and there. And our hills, they are missing another color. I can't tell if we want to go with green, or I think I'm deciding we will do a light blue. Again, because we are taking the same colors that we're doing on the sky. So I'm just cleaning the pastel just a little bit before I go in and lay that blue. So we don't want the blue to mix with our yellow, because if there's one thing we learned in elementary school is that blue and yellow, they create green. So I will make sure that I'm staying away from the yellow as much as possible. But if we happen to mix those colors, it will be okay. Because at the end of the day, there's some green on the house as well. So it will remain cohesive. And I think this color will be perfect for our mountains here. And it's time for us to blend to see how those mountains are going to look. So I'm taking my pencil, dipping in the oil, the linseed oil, and I will be strategic about which colors I start with. I will start with the lighter ones, and in this case it will be the hot pink. The reason we're not starting with the light blue is because there's a risk that we might mix it with something else, blend it into it, and then change the color of what we're doing. So we'll just do color by color. We'll start with the pink. And I'm going to be cleaning my pencil as needed, just wiping it on a piece of fabric off screen. Just like that. Doing the pink first. And then we're moving on to the orange. So I've done all the pink now, and we will move on to the orange. We'll wipe my brush on a piece of cloth, and then pick up some more linseed oil. Here we go. Now mixing that orange. Just like so. And the last colors that we will do is the darker ones, which is the light blue and the purple, to blend it all together. So let's clean our brush, wipe it, and pick up some more of that linseed oil. And then we will be blending our blue. And it might disappear, so it's not a problem. We can go over it with more blue. So just blending that blue with the rest of the colors. And see how it slowly turns into a darker shade of blue. Almost like a mix of green and blue. And it helps us get some shadows. And some darker shades. So now that we've blended each color individually, oh, I'm missing the purple. Let's blend our purple as well. Remember to be very careful blending purple because there's a risk of overpowering all the other colors. Just like so. And we will be, for the edge of the mountain, using round motions like this, if you can see my pencil. Tiny round motions that blend that purple and almost fold it into the mountain. Right, so let's wipe our brush on a piece of fabric. This is going to be my favorite part, which is mixing everything together. We will follow the same order, light first, and then blend that with all the colors surrounding. And wipe, make sure that we're wiping in between so that we don't overmix anything we don't want to overmix. Just like so. Creating very colorful mountains, and our house almost looks like a circus actually, which is okay. I have no problem with that. But I do want to go in and add another color once we're done blending our rainbow mountains. Just like so. Not blending everything together, but we are making sure that we create bridges between the colors that we have. Like so. So I just want our house to have a different color at the bottom. So what we will do is take a blue color, lighter than the shadows that we've laid on the house. Lightly add it at the bottom, work our way up, and then we will blend that into the yellow. The reason is just so that it creates a difference between the mountain and between the house or the circus, whatever we want this to be. Just like so. I will go back in with our light yellow, lemon yellow. Where did I leave it? And we will lay that on top. Like so. Just in the middle. Following the rules that we set earlier. Like so. And lastly, of course, one of the most important things for us will be to finish our sky. So let's take our cobalt blue and then just lay on a bit here, and we will mix it with another type of glue. I think the right blue for that will be light blue, but we will take a look and decide. So just lay it on because it's our base color. And then we will take a bit of ultramarine blue, why not? Just lay it on there to create more depth to this part of the sky. And finally, take our light blue and lay that in the middle. Like so. Before we blend, we will take our brush, we will wipe it clean, pick up a bit of linseed oil, and then we start again with the lighter colors. Blend those lighter colors into the dark ones. And then make sure that we are being careful when we are blending it near the house and the mountains to make sure that we are respecting the colors that we already did lay on it. Like so. And make sure that we're following a pattern that is fitting with our meteor light. Like so. I'm going to take a look from afar, and decide what else we need here. And I think it would be amazing to add some more of that light blue, even some white if we have it, to give the illusion that there's light in the sky here. It doesn't have to make sense, it just has to look okay. So we're going to lay on those colors. Before we blend it, I want to add some white. Like so. In the middle of that blue. And now, let's blend it and see what comes out of it. So that I don't overblend the white, I will make sure that my brush, first of all, is clean. We'll dip it in the oil, and right here you can see the cloth that I've been using. Just wipe our brush here after we've dipped it in the oil. And I will make sure that our brush is still wet, but not too much. And the reason we want this so that we can preserve that white without overblending it. So now I picked up some color, I will wipe my brush. And we will do the same thing over the white again. Like so. That way we are respecting the color that we've laid on. And I want to add something onto the sky, something that can make this cohesive. So I will take my deepest shade of blue. In this case it is Prussian blue. We want to create a couple airplanes here. There's not much science to what the airplane should look like. Just making sure that we're doing some triangles, like so. And we want to use the sharp edges of our pencil. Of our pastel. Like so. And we'll do the same thing above here, but I want this one to go the other way, so we'll start with just the line. And I will do the wings. And I will do one wing halfway, the other wing, do the full wing, and then finally the tail of the airplane. It's like so. And that's all we have for our painting today. Thank you guys for your time watching. And for those that joined, remember to trust the process and give yourself compassion, always. You guys have a great night. That's all I have to